Welcome to Team Rocket Garage. My name is Zach, and today I'm giving you the truth about high mileage classic cars. So I've got a lot of different cars and I do a lot of different things, but what's the issue with classic, vintage, or just basic older cars in the first place? This is a 1994, it's 30 years old, and well, there's plenty of reasons to not have one of these, but there's plenty of reasons to have one as well. Now, before anything, I do want to just kind of point out that mileage is not everything. Mileage is an indicator of how many miles something has driven, but it's not an indicator of any sort of health for the vehicle or anything like that. Mileage just tells you how many times the wheels have turned. How you drive those miles means a lot more. So a car that's maybe, I don't know, 25 years old, that's got 150,000 miles from one owner on it, probably going to be in a little bit better shape than a car that's got, say, half the miles, but was driven by someone like, well, me. Another thing to consider is the condition of the fluids, right? So if you are looking at an older car, come on, dude, somebody's dog just took a huge power in my yard, dude, gross. Dude, I have like the nicest lawn on the block. If you're looking at an old car and you're thinking about buying one, the fluids can tell you pretty much everything you want to know about that car. If the engine burns oil, you're gonna see oil. If the transmission slips, you're gonna see it in the fluid. If there's a problem with the steering system, you're gonna see it in the fluid. There's a problem with this one because it doesn't have any fluid. So if you're looking at transmission fluid, you want to see nice and clean and clear. If there's any black or dark in there, it's probably because the clutches are slipping in there, and that is a recipe for disaster. If it's in there, it's pretty unlikely that it's fixable. Transmissions, they either work or they don't. I'll show you on Martha right here. While I go look at that, I'll tell you, if the steering fluid has bubbles in it, there's a power steering leak somewhere. It can both leak fluid out and suck air in. So if you did just run the vehicle, the oil might read a little bit low because oil goes up through the engine and then pours down to the bottom. So if you just shut it off, don't worry if it's like 1/4 of a quart low or just a little below the line. Just a little life hack, I always keep a rag next to my battery. The reason for that is so I can conveniently check my fluids without getting it all over my sweet Team Rocket Garage shirt. You can get stuff like this at my website, teamrocketgarage.com. Let's check this oil. We've got it right on the full mark. Not a big deal. And then when you're checking your transmission fluid, you want to check the level when the car is running and has been in gear. So you start it, get it up to temperature, shift through the gears, put it in park, and then check it while it's running. The reason for that is that those fluids are going to go up in the transmission and then settle down into the pan. You have to have the fluid level correct while the transmission is running. Martha here isn't on, but we can at least check the condition of the fluid. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice and red. And then if you're gonna check the steering fluid, you can just pull the cap off. It usually just has a little tiny dipstick on it, just like this. Ah, bone dry, just how I left it. Another thing that you want to consider when you're getting into an older car like this is the condition of the rubber. And no, I don't mean tires. There's a whole lot more protection in a car. That's rubber. The main example you're going to be thinking of is your bushings. Now, this is a truck, so there's not a whole lot of bushings in the back, but the front will have bushings. You've got bushings for your sway bar linkage, right there and right there. If they're red, that means they're polyurethane and a little bit stiffer. If they're black, that means they're rubber. And there's a couple things in between, but you don't really need to worry about that as long as they don't have any cracks in them. I can show you a great example of what a bad bushing looks like. That is a bad bushing right there. Other pieces of rubber you can check out is going to be the rubber that goes around your door. This stuff right here, lucky enough in this truck, this is all brand new, so closes nice. Other indicators of a well-kept vehicle are going to be the windows, right? If they open and close nice, if the linkage is off or something like that. For example, this right here, I can roll it pretty easy, but when I go to roll it up, it kind of binds there and makes noise. Not super good, but hey, we'll get to it. So the real truth about old cars like that, or even my Mustang over here, or even my classic XJ Jeep over there. Old cars aren't any worse than new cars. They're just simply one thing. They're older than new cars, and that means that they have to be tinkered with a little bit more often. However, everything gets old, and if you've had something that's old and it's been old for a while but you've caught it up, it's newer than some of the things on the road. In fact, pretty much every bushing in those two cars is newer than anything else on my street, which means they drive freaking tight. The difference between these new cars and these old cars, things are dramatically cheaper for old cars. The supply and demand is just balanced out and the market's going to be saturated with parts, which make it easy to fix these things. A water pump in this Mustang, I could do that in an hour and maybe even an hour and a half if you're factoring in my time going to the parts store. It's just easy to fix. So is a classic or an older car like some of these a good idea for you? Let me know down in the comments. I absolutely love them. Thanks for watching. Consider hitting the subscribe button and I'll see ya in the next one.